And you're there.
Hello. What up, Slightly Chewy? What things in the 5 minutes since we left? Did you put it on the wrong playlist?
I did.
Did we get copyright struck again?
Probably. Oops. Oopsie doopsels.
Why are you like this?
You get what you pay for.
Stupid slave labor.
So why don't you I'll stream what you're up to and what's going on and stuff.
Sculpting.
Recap.
Working on the working on a cute little Cyclops. I did do a little bit of off-stream tweaking, but mostly just filling in underside stuff that's hard to do on cam.
What doing? Who needed soda?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be finishing up today or just carrying on, but
Depends how fast you are.
depends how fast, depends how today's beverage is ice water, and today's beverage variance is Torgordson. Okay. Torgordson. He's the fun way to stay hydrated. And all the crinkling is my wife.
Sorry. Shan't be long.
With your crinkling.
Shan't be long.
What is this? A furry convention?
What?
What is this? A furry convention? Crinkling?
Why?
Why what? What's wrong with you now?
I don't know. I just can't seem to put a straight line with this thing.
Okay, so what you're going to want to do...
Suck less?
Yes.
What we're gonna do
But
is
more...
we're gonna put this aside and leave it till later.
No. Okay, I guess.
I am opening a bag of clay so that I can cut some handles.
Abortively cut some handles,
Yes.
apparently. We can't use the handle cutter to save ourselves. There's some water on the plaster stand. You might want to actually clean that out.
Throw it out?
It's been... I've done glaze with it, so...
I'll just grab another one.
Okay. Whatever. Suck less face and body. That feels like a... It feels like a reference that I should get, but I am not. Ah. Seems on brand. I'm just smoothing out some of the unintentional lumpies so I can replace them with more intentional lumpies. I think we may need to swap you over to a different method of cutting your handles.
Why?
Well, I think we amply
What? Just because I can't
proved that.
straight? Shut up.
Yeah, I feel like we've amply demonstrated why we need to do that. It's clearly giving you problems. There is, as long as you basically want the same size all the time, there is a probably easier way. It's the backwards reverse cowgirl edition. You basically have a board with stand-up pieces,
Oh.
and you set the clay on it, and then you pull.
Okay, I will figure this out.
Will you, though?
Yes.
Will you?
Yes.
Will you?
They managed to screw it up in the same way every time.
And consistently failing is half the battle? For failing being half the battle? No, probably. That's probably intercourse related.
What did I miss?
You can read the chat.
Clay advice, life advice, intercourse advice. Yelling is half the battle?
Failing consistently is half the battle.
Okay.
Sometimes you just have to switch out who's on top. You get a nice lumpy, bumpy horn area.
Good times. Trying to freak out the neighbors.
I thought that was just messing with Krista.
The neighbors at Chris's apartment.
Oh.
I don't necessarily remember why.
Because shits and giggles?
Probably.
I mean, honestly, with the pie chart of my motivations, shits and giggles has been the widest slice. Like 30 years running. I don't like how even those bumps are.
I said I need to change glasses.
Buy old. I've been labeled a bifocal queen.
Am I? Great. I mean, getting made fun of for my eyesight coming from somebody as blind as you.
Hey, at least I'm consistently blind. And as we've established,
You've always been this broken.
consistently failing is half the battle.
Yes.
Get a stumpier horn going.
One downside is this is now over here, so
So you have to you have to pay attention to pay attention. It's not just vaguely in your line of sight.
yep.
Harness that ADHD. Multitask. Be the executive of your dysfunction. Here we go. I'll use you.
It's a big country.
I mean, I've done more aggressively seasoned things, so
Not very often though. It's powerful.
it really was. And I'm not. I mean, yeah. I have no good excuse. I can come up with excuses, but they won't be good excuses.
Self-class.
Yeah, I could try that. I don't want to though. Yeah,
They really were. Those ramen seasoning packets. whole packet per pork chop.
You know, they probably would have been actually really good in like a soup ramen type situation.
Likely.
They weren't bad pork chops. They were just, you know,
Strunk.
not for that application. They were a pork chop in a ramen toppings body.
Tasty is accurate.
Oh, tasty. They were the Takis of pork chops. I mean, don't sell them short. They were dry too. Not my finest effort.
I mean, they were discount chops.
It was nothing to do with them being discount pork chops and
No.
everything to do with them being loin pieces that were probably a little thinner than I really noticed, and they got marinated a little longer than they needed to. Because did I set those up? Yeah, that's what it was.
Huh?
I neglected to think of how long they were going to marinate. Or
Do them before?
dry brine. Yeah. No, I did them before. I did them before I put them away yesterday, Monday night.
Okay.
So they were like a full 24-hour dry brine. Basically, they did not need all that.
Like, I don't know what's wrong.
Well, you can dry brine stuff for, you know, I guess theoretically quite a long time. Up to like 48 hours isn't super atypical.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a relatively thin piece of meat like those pork chops, probably want to keep it to, you know, 3 hours or that range, or brine it with much less seasoning, because it really gets in there and absorbs it. I don't know. I think when I did it, I don't know why I was thinking grilling, because we don't have any gas to do grilling, but I think my brain was either conceiving grilling or pan frying for like taco type filling. And then mashed potatoes became a thing, so. That'd be a little.
So how big do you think this guy is going to be?
How big?
Is
Oh,
this
like how?
the bigger size of your stuff?
Yes, he's a full size mug.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just under height. Just a Scrooge. Like, I guess comparison with kind of mid-sized Fishman.
Well, Fishman's pretty small.
The Fishman is one of our mid-sized mugs.
Yeah.
And he is a good bit chunkier than a Fishman. He's not going to be as big as some of the mugs, I think. Definitely a full scale mug. Just on the slighter end. I mean, he does have a very cute little face.
Yes.
He was going to be a horrifying Cyclops for like.
It's like find yourself somebody who looks at you like the Cyclops looks at you.
He was going to be a full horrifying Cyclops for like 10 whole minutes. I think Cyclops is naturally trend toward not scary, and I think it's because there's no you don't have multiple eyebrows, so you can't have them knit together.
Okay.
So the best way to make a Cyclops scarier is actually make the eye teeny tiny. And then it reads as this sort of, big bulky beastie thing. But because this one had it.
Yes, exactly that emoji.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no reason to have two eyebrows on a Cyclops.
No, that would look weird.
I've seen it.
Have you?
Yeah, there's actually a classical sculpture of a Cyclops, but the thing is, it basically just looks like a regular dude's head with one eye shoved in it for no reason. 98% regular dude. And then just a little messed up area and an eye.
Is it like a medieval painting?
No, it's I think it's a Roman sculpture. Although it could be one of the like the Roman marbles that we have after one of the Greek bronze. Because a lot of the things that we know of as like, classical Roman sculpture were marble copies of the Greek bronzes.
Right.
It just, the Greek bronzes didn't make it. Either because they corroded away or because bronze was sort of inherently valuable as a material for other things. So Much like my sculptures. The dowdy old ones get melted down to make the new hotness. Look how lumpy that side is above the ear. Add more lumps. More lumps. Yeah, I think in general I'm largely pleased with the form. Just going to be a case of some minor refinements and playing with his back anatomy a little bit too. We did sort of invent an extra bit of muscle right here.
Okay.
In comparison to like what you would normally see human anatomy wise, this would all be sort of trapezius, but I thought this guy's got extra muscles for his neck.
Bring some interest in what would be boring a man of flesh.
Well, yeah.
Name your sex name.
Yeah, and when I make a critter, I do kind of like to conceptualize the biology a little bit. And I'm figuring with this guy, because of the one eye, he's not got as much in the way of a peripheral vision So he has to actively kind of move his head around a lot. So good, an extra sort of layer of muscle in here. To help pull the head down and along, kind of a rotational axis. Made sense to me.
Does make sense.
We have muscles for that too, but they tend to be smaller and they wrap around the neck, kind of underneath some of the bigger muscles that are engaged in holding the head up or lifting the shoulders. What?
Chewie's nodding along.
Yes. Well, I don't think anatomy knowledge is necessary to be a good sculptor, but
Maybe not necessary, but certainly helps.
it's helpful. And it's also really hard to say for me, like how necessary it would be or how helpful it would be, because it's not like I can bonk my head and forget it all. I tend not to think about the bits and pieces. Like, don't go along naming the parts in my head when I'm sculpting. I don't like how that muscle is too separate. We're gonna keep these rhomboid analogs connected a bit more. It tends to be a kind of a horseshoe shape. Described by these muscles. Yeah, I tend not to, I'm not sculpting along thinking about like the mandible and the zygomatic process, the arches, all that kind of shit while I'm sculpting. But it's all in there. Well, I will say it's certainly helpful for cases where you're doing something where you're really having to invent a new creature of some kind.
What, anatomy specifically? Or?
Yeah, anatomy specifically, and being able to conceptualize, like, okay, if this is an animal with like a horn on its head, that horn, in order to be effective, is going to need to be powered by some larger muscles in here and in here, and in even into the, like, this would be the tops of the back
Yeah.
I'm thinking of the culinary term. the pork loins.
What would be the meat name for Cyclops?
The meat name for Cyclops?
Yeah.
I don't know.
What's Cyclops in French?
I only know I only know a little bit of culinary French.
Well, I mean, that's kind of why I'm asking.
But
You don't know the culinary term for Cyclops?
I don't know the culinary term for Cyclops. Because I don't think there is a culinary term for Cyclops.
There should be.
Because no one's cooked one.
Chewie, help us out here. You know French.
I mean, I imagine the French for Cyclops is probably just kind of Cyclops with an outrageous accent.
Just checking.
Well, because it comes from a Latin root.
Uh-huh. I feel like Delicious in the Dungeon might have an answer for us. I don't remember if there's Cyclopses in Delicious in the Dungeon, but I don't think so.
Yeah, the spinal erectors, these sort of long tippity tops of the posterior.
Cyclo.
Yeah.
I guess that's not really that far enough away.
But yeah, the tippity tops of the spinal erector posterior chain muscles would tend to be quite strong, because they're going to be involved in, like,
Thank you, Chewie.
tipping the head all back and things. That fun kind of goring motion, that's all driven by this stuff. In that sort of sense, it's useful to know. But I mean, it's not like there aren't workarounds. You could try and find reference from a real animal. I know why there's no culinary term for Cyclops, because who could eat that little face?
What? What do you get, Chewie?
My ass.
You get my ass. Christ.
painful. I feel like if this live streaming thing ever does attract any size of an audience, we need a like Game of Thrones style bell ringing shame emoji.
Okay. Well, they do have sound effects.
They do. I personally do not feel mature enough on any level for a soundboard.
Okay.
Like, just no. I'm not a functional adult.
Agreed that we are not mature enough for a soundboard, or agreed that we need sound emojis?
Or a shame emoji, at least.
Yes, both. Yes.
Definitely not mature enough for a soundboard. It'd be a lot of Gene Belcher behavior. Although, can you imagine having a soundboard and just loading it with different fart noises?
Just fart
Like, that's
noises?
the only thing we would have on it.
Sounds like something you'd do.
It does. Probably why we should not have one. Put a fun division back here. Let me give him a bit of a butt crack head.
What?
Have you ever seen
a butt crack on the back of his
a
head?
bit of a butt crack head? Have you seen a like a fairly heavily built like pit bull terrier type thing? They have a they'll tend to have an apparent like almost got like a butt on the back of their head.
Uplifting cheek squeak. Resounding trumpet of a rear rat and affirmative fart. That's a good point.
Huh. I am not allowed to see the word rear or fart.
Seriously? Do you think it knows that we're talking about farts?
It might know we're talking about farts. I can't imagine that it can't just like it can't just block rear without context. How infantile does
How infantile what now?
well, okay, yes.
We are having a whole conversation.
Yeah.
Soundboard.
Just for fart
entirely
noises.
of fart noises.
Yes.
And you're calling Twitch infantile.
No, I was actually thinking how infantile can it be before it like will it censor tushy?
Cheery right tushy.
I don't get I get no tushy.
It
Swear to Christ. I don't know what that other one was. Fanny, probably, maybe?
both tushy.
They're both
Just
tushy?
spelled different. Ha! Yeah.
Rear Admiral I can have.
Can you?
Fanny pack. Try just regular Fanny. See if we're on the UK version. Nope, I get Fanny too. So no tushy, but Fanny.
Shenanigans. Oh, hey, we got a Jamie on YouTube.
Oh, cool.
What is French for Cyclops? It's just Cyclope. Oh. It actually blocked pussy. Let's allow it. Pussy K.
Took us.
Do we need to change the rating on this thing?
Sure. Like, oh well, I got Tookus. I didn't get whatever the second one was though.
Wait. So apparently the correct spelling for Tookus has a K in it. I'm
Oh,
assuming.
so I got the TUCUS version,
Yeah.
but not the appropriately spelled Yiddish Tookus.
I guess. Shenanigans.
There's no chance that our official French speaking audience will ever be able to mention seals or animals such as seals.
Give her a second.
No, it's spelled different.
It is.
Well, that's no fun.
You didn't know how it was spelled?
No, I didn't. Again, culinary French and seal is not it's not a common.
So that's not the culinary term for seal meat?
I don't know what the hell the culinary. Why did I get that in a frankly offensive accent?
Now I want that on a mug or a t-shirt.
Well, write this shit down. Seriously though, that
Right?
I mean, I believe it, but there was not a an entry for that in the Grand de Plume course that I, the course books that I read.
Actually read course books on this?
What?
You actually read course books?
I had a copy of the entire Grand de Plume encyclopedia.
Okay, also keeping in mind, I don't know what that is.
It's the French cooking school, like the proto CIA. That's Culinary Arts the Culinary Institute, not Yeah, I had to learn how to cook somewhere. I didn't get it at home.
Oh, okay, I know that. I didn't know you had any of that fancy book learning, though.
I mean, the internet wasn't really as helpful at the
I suppose
time.
not.
There's only so much you could get from yeah, Culinary Institute of America. It's a fairly well-known, like, cooking school type diploma. It's what a lot of chefs get, because it's rather standardized-ish kind of cooking school. Which I suppose it's weird that we have that kind of standardized, but yeah, that's like your highly accredited culinary school programs would probably be affiliated. It might even be in Canada largely too. Are your hands dirty or clean? Yep.
I do.
Okay. The kiln requires our attention. Oh, it's the started at the bottom, so it's the third one down.
Third one down?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
There we are. Yeah, those books are actually quite good for basic cooking instruction, I guess. I like the way they were laid out, because instead of being like a book of recipes, although they did have some recipes, they were organized kind of by technique.
Okay.
So you might have a section on like braising, general principles, and then maybe you'd have a couple of like
2 days. Oh, wait, what? Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Is it just 4 seconds? I thought it was longer.
Maybe it's different depending on the device and the day.
Maybe.
Yeah, I can't. I can't imagine that you guys didn't also have those same cooking course books.
Okay, but it's not anything I ever looked into. So the message popped up on Twitch versus what popped up on YouTube. Cat box.
Cat box?
Cat. That is a cat, yeah? Oh, you can't see it.
No.
So I don't have the chats integrated yet, so the chat from YouTube is not showing up on Twitch. So Chewy has sent a bunch of cats in boxes
Ah.
that you can't have.
No.
Nor the... Can't tell if that's a sloth or a penguin. Yeah, I think the delay is just a little longer on YouTube. I don't think there's anything to be done about that. It's just that's what it is.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we're not the most interactive channel anyway. Not trying to be.
Oh, it's a sad penguin.
That's a sad penguin. Have you seen all the Pingu memes? Is that a French show?
Pingu?
Yeah. No?
Yeah.
It is?
Yeah,
okay.
I think so.
Because I was not aware of it until I saw the memes.
You don't know what Pingu is?
I do now because of Thingu.
Yeah, Newt Newt.
Yes, Newt.
I found a shirt that I almost bought on I found it on Temu, but I didn't want to buy it on Temu because I'm sure some actual artist made it somewhere. But it was Slip Newt Newt. I laughed like a lot.
Slip Newt.
I don't like spam. But yeah, so I tried to find where the Slip Newt Newt came from, and I could not find it. Like the Slipknot official shop had a version of Slip Newt.
But it wasn't the same
Oh,
version.
Pingu Swiss.
Pingu Swiss. But yes, I've seen... I think my favorite was Thingu.
Pingu?
Yeah, like the thing from...
Yeah. That's pretty funny.
John Carpenter's, in fact.
John Carpenter's Pingu?
I don't think it was John Carpenter's Thingu, but...
Yes.
The only downside is now my brain wants to know what Slip Newt Newt sounds like, and there's nothing that that's not happening. Nothing is coming from that. Where is my little device? Un momento, I want my thingy.
You want your what thing?
My one of my wrinkle tools. Seem to be in here. One of the downsides with making your own tools is you tend to amass a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it is about just, you know, trying stuff out. I really can't find that. Well, that's unfortunate. No, I can't find the tool I'm looking for. It's one of my fairly standard tools too. I mean,
you're gonna need to make a new one?
I was gonna say the plus side is I can always make another one, but I will use this tool that I hardly ever really use, despite the fact that I thought it would be quite good.
What is it that you're using?
It is a fancy tool that I got from pottery supply.
Nobody can see.
It's
Oh.
it is a serrated spatula, but I think the problem is yeah, it's serrated, which is fun and everything, but the problem is because it's because this is quite hard clay and the handle is quite round and it's also kind of paddled out shape, it's actually very tiring on the hand to use.
Wrap it?
I could wrap it. Yep, I could wrap it, but also there are better ways to do this same job. Like this is a better way to do that same job. Pulling like this away from the tool keeps it nicely in line, so you don't have to fight the kind of forking forces that you have to do, which I completely should have known that when I bought it. I 100% should have known that when I bought it, because my old, when I was sculpting in water-based clay, my old go-to tool for that was like a specific kind of toothed rib that I quite liked, and I used that for like 85% of my whole rough-in process was that one tool.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you kind of have to hold it, and imagine that's right in this box here, but you know, it's the same kind of thing as this, where the scraping action isn't like in line with your hand. Isn't it? I mean, this isn't a bad tool at all. It'd be excellent for water-based clay, but because the monster clay is quite a bit harder. Maybe I could get you. The thing is, sometimes it's nice to revisit a tool that you kind of didn't work for you. Try it out again, and you just sort of like.
So you'll either figure out how to make it work, or you'll be like, "Oh yeah, that's why I didn't like that."
Yeah, you kind of like. Sometimes it'll do a good thing for a specific case, and then you're like, "Oh, that's what that's really going to be good for me." Or in the case of something like this, you're like, oh, if I just made a couple of small changes, this could be a more workable tool. like this needs to be slightly longer or slightly shorter for my hand. It's just putting my finger on the back of this flat portion presses that into my palm.
Oh,
It does get a little annoying, but only because of where the corner.
Yeah, well, you're like hitting that exact spot that whole time.
Yeah, well, but having it tucked into my palm actually does keep it from wanting to torque.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. It's just, you know, it's hitting on the corner of that opposite blade. It's a little irritating, but I could probably just smooth that corner out. That would make it significantly more workable. This might work well for a stickier clay too, like a Chavant. Because sometimes it's this shape of tool, the sort of ribbony type thing, gets a little tedious to clear when the clay keeps sticking to it and gumming it up. Having a nice flat tool is nice. It's just easier to clean. That's smooth enough, I think, anyway. Something completely new. I purchased this the other day at the dollar store, and it is a silicone sponge. Like that could be a little bit stiffer. I imagine that's very annoying to watch, though. Shakes the camera. Well, it shakes the camera too. Give that shit a rest. I have this brush for that same kind of job. I think it's faster, and it doesn't shake the camera. Probably very difficult to tell on cam, but the sponge does offer a kind of a softer finish. This brush is giving like little very small scratches. just, you know, you get progressively finer scratches. Or how you get stuff kind of smoothed and softened out. Hmm?
Which bag is my reclaimed clay?
The big single lump right now is reclaim. Probably.
What?
Probably. Yes, the big block there is reclaim. That's been all wedged out to reasonably extra soft for you. We actually got through the other bag of reclaim. Well, we sort of got through the other bag of reclaim. I kind of wasted the last couple of pounds. Quasi wasted it.
Me?
Hmm?
Why?
Because I tried to throw for some little things off the hump. Yep, I was trying to we throw quite a few little tiny containers, little bowls and little like shot glassy things. When the wife's fingies don't want to play anymore, I do some of the throwing. Well, I thought for small stuff rather than
You thought you'd try an advanced technique?
well, I thought that I would do that rather than, you know, center up each little lump. I would center up a couple of pounds and throw multiple things. But the problem is when you throw off the hump, you need extra clay each time. So that you can remove it when you finish the throwing. Like there's inherently more trimming involved. And what time that's going to save me in the throwing, it's going to cost me in the reclaiming. So I might just as well do it the old-fashioned way. Yeah, reclaiming clay is it's a whole thing.
Some people just straight up don't do it.
And I can completely see why, because the amount of time involved for the amount of like saving, you know, it takes cumulatively.
It's so wasteful to not do it.
Well, it depends on whether you're more concerned about wasting a material or your, you know, your time and money.
Honestly, material.
Well, yeah, that's fine, but also you're not the one doing it.
I know.
Takes like 3-ish hours, I would say, to do a batch that probably amounts to a half a box of clay at most. So $20 savings in
3 hours of your time.
in 3 hours of work is not like that's not really financially a deal.
No. No. Not.
I think if we were doing more production style pottery, it would probably be worse, honestly. Because you have much more reclaim to deal with at that point.
Yes. But I mean, also if you had enough scale, you could get a pug. Take care of some of that work for you. Some of that work.
I mean, that would have to be a lot of freaking scale.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know. I don't know about no pug mill. I can tell you that when I was in undergrad, we had a clay mixer, and I would not want one of those.
Why?
Because that was a whole big unit, and it was also really potentially very, very dangerous to use. Not only from the silica dust exposure, but because of the fact that it was probably a close to 10 horsepower machine. It wasn't super high speed, but it was crazy high torque. So if you happen to get any of your bits involved in that,
Rip that shit right off.
it would probably just eat you. Like it would be really easy to get a piece of clothing or something snagged up in the hundreds of pounds of clay swirling around in there, and just get sucked into the machine and chewed up. Yes, he did have a pug mill, I believe.
Did he?
I think so.
Oh, yeah. I think so too.
I think the biggest reason to have a pug mill is probably honestly not reclaiming as much as if you wanted to mix your own clay, like your own specific clay body. My friend Ed has a pug mill, because he mixes his own porcelains for his firing process, and that would be very difficult to do. Pug mill's not as bad. I mean, I'm sure they're also have their kind of like potential hazards, but the clay mixing machine was a different animal entirely. I think a pug mill has a pretty small.
Was it like a giant one of those Hobart mixers from a kitchen? Like one of those, but from clay.
kind of, but think like sunk into the floor.
Okay.
So it was basically two giant augers, like a kind of like you would get, you know, those old-fashioned lawnmowers, the pushy ones with the like
Yes.
the blades that are kind of in a big tube,
The tube spiral.
tube spiral thingy. Think like a loose version of that, but like two of them that kind of wove into each other.
Okay.
And it just kind of very slowly rotated. And they weren't sharp, but it was great, big, thick, heavy pieces of metal. And you could do like, I think we could do 300 pounds of clay at a time. Like it wasn't a huge one, not like they've got at PSH. Like that thing's multi-story. But I also think theirs is more akin to a pug mill, unless they might actually have both. They probably do, actually. Think of it. Just the machine that I have seen personally is very pug mill, but that's probably their secondary process. Well, I imagine they mix their dry ingredients in a big old mixer, and then the pug mill type thing is more about kneading it and de-airing it. The other reason why I wouldn't want a pug mill is I actually have no idea how that actually works.
Wouldn't you learn it?
Well, you would have to learn it, but you know, you want to know how it works so that you can like maintain the machine and all that. I don't really want another machine to maintain.
That's fair. That's fair.
I think the degassing portion is probably kinda probably kind of finicky. The handling process being rough on your back. Maybe you need to break it up with another task. Yeah, bit of a vein. Let's get some vein going on this guy. Even though this little bugger is adorable, I want some good good horror-y surface detail. I guess we need to make it a point to watch the substance.
Yes, yes, we do.
At some point soonish.
I keep hearing about it.
Yes, we've been recommended that one enough times at this point. I wonder if it's streaming anywhere yet.
Might be. We could always sail the high seas.
Yeah. Yeah, we could. That and Terrifier 3. I want to watch that before
Comic-Con?
Before Comic-Con. Don't want to disappoint Bill yet again.
Did you disappoint him?
Well, I hadn't seen the movie. Bill worked on that movie.
I know.
I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah.
So it's like, no, you can't go. You can't go.
Vordelak? What the what?
The Vordelak.
Vordelak? What's Vordelak?
Vordelak is a new vampire movie.
The Hootie what?
I believe it is. It is kind of an artsier version with some puppets.
Puppets?
Yes. It is a puppet version.
Fantastic puppets? Like, are they obviously puppets?
They are obviously.
Or
They are obviously puppets.
Okay. Like, are they trying to make them?
It's yes. It's a.
What?
Stupid testy.
What did your testy do? No.
Stupid testes.
Chewy, what's wrong with your testy?
But yeah, I need to see.
That happened would be the problem. I mean, the bit. What?
I need to get.
Two more. I want to finish.
Mm-hmm.
Fingernails.
Yes, I also want to see. I want to see The Northman, because that is a Robert Eggers film that I have not seen yet, and I tend to quite like his work. Gotta watch Nosferatu again. I liked that one, but I also found it more impressive than entertaining. Yeah, I don't know. What did you think of the Nosferatu?
The new one?
Yeah.
I liked it. It's good.
Found it more impressive than entertaining, though.
Yes. I'll agree with that. Like, really beautiful to see.
Yeah.
I mean, part of it might also be like that is a story that we are very familiar with, you know?
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I would give that a second watch just to see how my impression might.
It was disgusting and great.
Hmm. I mean, you know, now that I think of it, the lighthouse was also like.
Disgusting and great?
Was it disgusting? I suppose it was kind of a bit in spots, I guess. But it was like certainly not mad that I watched it. I didn't want my 2 hours back or whatever, but I also was not like I haven't been tempted to go and watch it again.
Okay.
Like there are some horror movies in particular that I could watch like pretty much indefinitely. I don't see ever getting tired of like Bad Taste or um
So good.
What is I guess Dead Alive is probably the most official, most well-known title for
I think so.
what is the other title? Brain Dead.
Seeing as you couldn't actually remember.
Yeah. Well, I think it was originally titled Brain Dead, and then or no, I think it was
through like 3 titles.
It might have done. Yes, the rat monkey. I mean, that movie just has a bunch of great stuff. Like the rat monkey, the horrible baby, the vicar is hilarious. The whole
I got a chunky bit.
Yeah. The whole like transformation sequence with the mom was pretty good. Rabbit Grannies was actually really good. I'd love to get a hold of a better print of that. We watched Rabbit Grannies I don't know, probably a couple months ago now. I'm not sure if I had seen it before.
I know I haven't.
Well, I feel like I would have done at some point.
Oh, when you remember it?
Yes. Maybe.
Okay.
I mean, it's.
You remember that.
I would too. May have just missed that one out. Some crazy how, but the version we saw was not wasn't a very good print. So it was pretty sad, standard resolution, kind of not doing some of the effects justice. The design on the actual the titular Rabid Grannies was really quite fun. and you couldn't see them that well. If that one hasn't had it yet, that needs a good, like, the full, that needs the full Criterion Collection Blu-ray treatment. Don't you take that attitude. That movie definitely deserves it.
Okay.
That one was way too much fun. Yeah, another movie that we didn't see until, or I didn't see until way too late, was Return of the Living Dead. What?
Crazy.
Well, you probably saw that one before. Like, that's some pretty iconic stuff, that one. The progenitor from, or of the send more police, send more paramedics idea.
Yeah. The really wow is in reference to.
Well, probably that I hadn't seen that one until fairly recently. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know how I
just hadn't.
Don't know how I didn't see it. Just didn't.
Happens.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really, like, really good late 80s, early 90s kind of horror films. That are due for a bit more respect than what they got. I mean, Frankenhooker was great. And that one was firmly in the B-movie camp. Cannot think of the name of the actress that played Frankenhooker off the top of my head right now, but she did a super impressive job. Have you not seen Frankenhooker?
No.
We may need to show you Frankenhooker.
Okay.
It's one of those movies that's decidedly on the sillier side.
Okay.
But like the cast 100% committed to it. Like, it's worth watching just for the crazy faces that she pulls.
Okay.
You gonna make it?
Yep. One more after this.
Uh-huh. But yeah, I have recently, the last couple of, maybe couple of years or so, seen more reference to Frankenhooker out in the wild.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the odd like t-shirt or like poster or whatever. I think Frankenhooker really had like a bit of a branding issue. Because it wasn't like, it wasn't that much of like an exploitation type film,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't like squeaky clean either. So it kind of didn't really satisfy either kind of mainstream. Or I guess mainstream is the wrong sort of subgenre fan.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be coming up more lately too, I think.
What do you mean?
Well, like those movies that we've been finding on Tubi that obviously have a cast that's definitely done porn,
Yes.
but they aren't really like that. You know, it's not like the movies that just are basically
What, you mean that, like that show that we watched that was cut down to 20 minutes because they edited all the porn out of it?
yes.
Like that?
Well, like that, but also like, do you remember back in the day when they had like some movies and things that were like, they were clearly just like cable strength pornography, so they could have them on like Cinemax and stuff like that. Like that's not really a niche that exists anymore, I don't think. Because just, you know, porn is pretty ubiquitous. It's not,
Yes,
not like it'd be hard to get.
It's not.
Yeah, like the oh, you know, I wonder if I haven't thought about fucking anime porn in forever. I wonder what the state of anime porn is. I think anime porn kind of existed in that. Well, yeah, definitely. Wait.
What?
Was that not...
Softcore prawn.
Was that not anime porn?
Was what, not anime porn?
Le Blue?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Yeah, because in the States they had like Cinemax, and it wasn't anime. It was just like, it was basically like a regular R-rated movie, but with more boobs. It was Game of Thrones strength pornography, but with more boobs per square meter of film.
What are we creating this by?
The interval between boobs was less.
The amount of boobs they showed? How much of it was implied?
I mean, Game of Thrones didn't exactly have much implied boobage.
No, they didn't.
They had just boobage.
Straight up boobage.
Straight up boobage.
Okay, well,
Oh,
Look at that.
truthful hammering. Your name isn't
No.
anywhere near entertaining enough to even
No.
bother teasing you.
Block. Go away now. It hurt us talking about porn.
Wait, it did?
No.
I don't think it had anything to do with it. Just
No.
the usual.
Just the usual. No, I was kidding.
Yeah, if we could get some porn bots on here, that would be great. Those have entertainment value. Yeah, I'm no racist. I'm not going to ban a bot just for being a bot. But you do have to bring something to the table. Yeah, there are a lot of entertainment niches that have changed quite significantly. Since I was a lad. Yeah, I thought the Attack of the 50-Foot Cam Girl and its associated films were fairly entertaining.
Yes.
I guess that's a bright spot for the entertainment industry.
Mm-hmm.
Still waiting for one of the, like, not necessarily an exploitation type film, but a, because I don't see that happening big the way it did in the like 80s, 70s and 80s when those sort of exploded.
I would say that kind of thing's kind of fallen out of favor.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's partially fallen out of favor just because it kind of it kind of got mainstreamed a little bit. Like you can, there were definitely some pretty mainstream kind of gore cinema entries.
Sauces-yo.
Hmm?
Sauces-yo.
Yeah. I mean, sure. Saw, Hostel.
Oh,
I believe one more.
can I do the thing?
I think it's the last one.
Yep. Continue.
You do the thing. Well, yeah, I mean, even the George Romero of the Dead films, they had some extra gore effect stuff that you probably wouldn't have seen without you know, bucket of blood walked so that Romero could run. Shit, what is it? I should really not be struggling to remember the name of the director for like Bucket of Blood. And
Oh, okay. I'm like, which director?
What?
You were struggling for his name, and I'm like, who?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Bitch, if I knew that, I would have said it.
I mean, I do know this. I just
Yeah, I know.
can't think of the
Yeah.
name right now. Hell, I wrote a paper on it
Did
in
you?
graduate school.
Selfless. I
I
don't know.
know. Particularly, Bucket of Blood, Driller Killer.
Or is it a matter of pride that you're gonna remember what it is without help?
It is a matter of. It's a matter of pride and/or unimportance to the channel at large. Need to. The last thing the internet needs is another pretentious ass movie discussion vlog.
Oh, honey, you don't know.
I know. Particularly not anymore. Good God. I don't have the time to watch any of the new stuff coming out.
It is.
It is 10 o'clock.
It is 10.
In the end, smallpocking of this Cyclops continues apace.
So, do you think you're gonna have
Um,
session? Or are you done?
I think we could stand one more
One more?
of Cyclops finishing. Probably.
Okay.
I want to add some pretty good texture to this guy. So.
All right. So, oh, excuse me. Hot. Thanks for coming out, folk.
Indeed.
we will be back. Same bat time, same batch channel. Thursday at
Thursday? It's Tuesday, yeah.
today's
Okay.
Tuesday,
Yeah.
Thursday
Thursday
at 8.
at 8. And we'll probably
Yay.
finish this off.
Thanks for coming, Chew. And I don't know if Jamie's still there, but thanks for coming, Jamie. Laters.
Bye.